The real story of D-Day, the turning point of World War II. D-Day, June 6, 1944, stands as one of the most significant military operations in world history. Officially known as Operation Overlord, it was the Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied France during World War II. The landings on the beaches of Normandy marked the beginning of the end for Hitler's Third Reich, setting in motion a campaign that would eventually lead to the liberation of Western Europe. This massive military undertaking involved meticulous planning, immense bravery, and unprecedented coordination between Allied forces. Background and planning: before D-Day, the Allies had been engaged in fierce battles across North Africa and Italy. However, a direct assault on Nazi-occupied France was essential to open a Western front against Germany. The planning of Operation Overlord began in earnest in 1943 under the direction of Supreme Allied Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower. A crucial aspect of the invasion was deception. Operation Bodyguard, a series of misinformation campaigns, aimed to mislead the Germans into believing the attack would come at Pas-de-Calais, the narrowest point between England and France. The Allies used fake radio transmissions, double agents, and dummy military equipment to convince the Germans that Normandy was merely a diversion. The forces involved. The invasion was a joint effort involving American, British, Canadian, and other Allied forces. Over 156,000 troops would land on the beaches of Normandy, supported by nearly 7,000 naval vessels, including battleships, destroyers, and landing craft. Thousands of aircraft provided air support, dropping paratroopers and bombing key German defenses. Among the key Allied leaders, General Bernard Montgomery commanded the ground forces, while Air Chief Marshal Trafford Lee Mallory led the air operations. The naval forces were under Admiral Bertram Ramsay. On the German side, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, was tasked with strengthening the Atlantic Wall defenses along the French coast. Despite his efforts, the German defenses would ultimately prove inadequate. The 5 beaches. The invasion was divided into 5 landing sectors: Utah Beach, American forces; Omaha Beach, American forces; Juno Beach, Canadian forces; Sword Beach, British forces. Each beach presented unique challenges, from formidable German defenses to difficult terrain. The most challenging was Omaha Beach, where American troops faced heavily fortified positions and suffered heavy casualties. Utah Beach, on the other hand, saw lighter resistance due to the misplacement of the landing forces, which, ironically, worked in their favor. The night before, airborne operations on the night of June 5 to 6, thousands of American and British paratroopers were dropped behind enemy lines to disrupt German communications, secure key bridges, and weaken defenses before the beach landings. Despite many landing off course due to poor weather and enemy fire, these airborne divisions played a crucial role in delaying German reinforcements. The American 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions landed near Sainte-Mère-Église, a key town in the Cotentin Peninsula. They faced disorganized German resistance and were able to capture several strategic positions. Meanwhile, the British 6th Airborne Division targeted Pegasus Bridge, successfully securing the area to prevent German counterattacks from the east. The invasion, June 6, 1944. At dawn, Allied warships began bombarding German positions along the coast. However, at Omaha Beach, many German bunkers survived the shelling, leading to fierce resistance. American troops faced withering machine gun fire as they stormed the beaches, suffering thousands of casualties. Despite this, they pushed forward, overwhelming German defenses through sheer determination and strategic ingenuity. At Utah Beach, American forces met less resistance due to a fortunate landing site mistake that placed them away from the strongest German defenses. British and Canadian troops at Gold, Juno, and Sword Beaches also faced resistance, but managed to establish beachheads by the end of the day. One of the most dramatic moments of D-Day occurred at Point du Hoc, a 100-foot cliff fortified by the Germans. The U.S. Army Rangers scaled the cliffs under heavy fire, neutralizing the German artillery that could have devastated the landings at Omaha and Utah beaches. The German response? The German High Command was initially slow to react, believing Normandy was a diversion from a larger attack at Pas-de-Calais. Additionally, Hitler's refusal to release armored divisions without his direct approval delayed counterattacks. By the time German reinforcements arrived, the Allies had secured key footholds. Rommel, who had pushed for stronger coastal defenses, was away from the front on June 6, which further delayed the German response. Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt, the overall commander of German forces in Western Europe, was also hesitant, as he awaited Hitler's orders. The resulting confusion allowed the Allies to consolidate their positions. The aftermath and impact D-Day, which took place on June 6, 1944, was the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The invasion of Normandy had both immediate and long-term consequences, reshaping the course of World War II and global history. Immediate aftermath of D-Day. Heavy casualties and destruction. Over 10,000 Allied soldiers were killed, wounded, or missing on the first day. German defenses suffered as well, with thousands of soldiers captured or killed. The Normandy region was left devastated, with destroyed towns and displaced civilians. 2D. The Battle of Normandy, June-August 1944. D-Day was just the first step. Fighting continued for weeks as Allied troops pushed inland. The liberation of Paris happened on August 25, 1944, as German forces retreated. The success of the Normandy campaign forced Germany into a defensive war on the Western Front. Long-term impact of D-Day 1, the collapse of Nazi Germany. After the success in Normandy, the Allies advanced rapidly through France, Belgium, and into Germany. The invasion opened up a Western front, forcing Germany to fight on multiple fronts against both the Soviets in the East and the Western Allies. Less than a year later, Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945, VE Day. 2. The Cold War and Division of Europe, the Soviet Union, fighting Germany from the East, also advanced rapidly. After the war, Europe was divided into Western, democratic, and Eastern, Soviet-controlled blocs, setting the stage for the Cold War. Through NATO and post-war alliances, the cooperation among Allied nations during D-Day laid the groundwork for NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, in 1949. NATO became a key force in countering Soviet influence in Europe. 4. Military and technological advancements. Amphibious warfare tactics from D-Day were refined and used in future conflicts. Radar, deception tactics, and supply chain logistics saw significant improvements. 5. Memory and commemoration. D-Day became a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and strategic brilliance. Countries worldwide honored the veterans and fallen soldiers through annual ceremonies. Conclusion: D-Day was more than just a battle. It reshaped the political, military, and social landscape of the world. The invasion marked the beginning of the liberation of Europe and cemented the United States, the UK, and their allies as dominant global powers. Would you like a deeper focus on any of these aspects? Legacy and commemoration. D-Day, which took place on June 6, 1944, was a pivotal moment in World War II, when Allied forces launched the largest amphibious invasion in history on the beaches of Normandy, France. This marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. Legacy of D-Day. 1. Turning point in WII. D-Day was crucial in weakening Nazi Germany and ultimately leading to its surrender in May 1945. 2. Tactical and military innovations. The invasion showcased remarkable military planning, deception tactics, Operation Fortitude, and logistical strategies that are studied even today. 3. Symbol of Allied unity. The operation involved the cooperation of multiple nations, including the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and other Allied forces. 4. Demonstration of human courage. Thousands of soldiers fought bravely under extreme conditions, making it a symbol of sacrifice and heroism. Commemoration of D-Day. D-Day is remembered globally, especially in France, the United States, the UK, and Canada. Key ways it is commemorated include: 1. Ceremonies and memorial services. Annual ceremonies at Normandy attended by veterans, world leaders, and citizens. 2. Play. A ceremony in many countries to honor those who fought and died. 2. War memorials and museums. Normandy American Cemetery and Memorial honors the thousands of Allied soldiers who died. D-Day Museum, Portsmouth, UK, highlights the role of British forces. National WII Museum, New Orleans, USA, features extensive exhibits on the invasion. 3-day enactments, and educational programs, military reenactments, on the beaches of Normandy. Schools and universities host lectures and discussions about D-Day's significance. For D-Day and documentaries, films like Saving Private Ryan and The Longest Day keep D-Day's memory alive. Documentaries and books explore personal stories of veterans. D-Day remains a defining moment in history, symbolizing sacrifice, strategy, and the fight for freedom. Would you like a more detailed focus on a specific aspect? Conclusion. The real story of D-Day is one of sacrifice, courage, and determination. The men who fought and died on the beaches of Normandy changed the course of history. Their bravery ensured the defeat of tyranny and the restoration of freedom to millions. Today, the legacy of D-Day serves as a reminder of the cost of war and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. D-Day was not just a battle. It was a symbol of unity, resilience, and the determination to fight for a just cause. The lessons of D-Day remain relevant, emphasizing the importance of strategic planning, cooperation, and the unbreakable spirit of those who fight against oppression. Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content. Hit the bell